Publishing permission is the process in EC Security that writes the changes into the normal NAV security tables. In that way, the security changes will be active. We have two ways of publishing. One is just called publish, and it will calculate a lot of things like quick security. It will calculate object level security. It will recalculate permission sets based on new source code analysis and things like that one. And then it's going to write all the things into the normal NAV security tables. We will only write the records that need to be changed, so we don't write a lot of records typically, and the final part of writing is pretty fast. We can also publish selected, and that is intended for testing purposes, or if you want to only do a few things when you maybe are planning larger changes. If you change a permission group and many users are having that group, you maybe want to change or test with a single user first, and then you will use a publish selected from the logins. You can also do the same for permission sets. You may be working on other changes that will change many permission sets, but you want to update one because of a permission error. So you can do a publish selected of that permission set, but it is not a replacement of the full publish because it will not calculate all the other things that happens in a full publish. Every time we publish, we will create a restore point, or we actually create two restore points, one from the live data and one from the EC security data. And it is possible to roll back security to the previous point by using these restore points. All the things we use for calculations is offline, the same way as you maintain all the data and do a publish. We also pull in a new information, and there is function get data or get new data that will actually pull in new users, new companies, and new objects in the database and use them for the calculations. The publish process will tell you when that function is required to run, and you just go and run the get new data function. You can also have publishing happening with a NAV application server. The application server needs to be super user, like a normal user that can publish permissions, but the person that requests a publish to happen don't have to be a super user. They can actually have very limited permission, so they can only maintain logins but make no changes to permission sets or anything else, and only have access to the EC security also. But that's a way to also protect the process of publishing. NavEC Security has been installed in this database, and we have all our data in our separate company in here. In that way, you can have people only having access to this company in here. As I would make changes to a user, like for example to John in here, I could go in and add the group for sales, and I could add it in one company in here. I can update the login, and it will tell me what data is being made ready for publishing here. As I want to push these changes, I will use the publish permission function. I could also publish selected, and I'll come back to that later. To publish permission, I'll go ahead and click this function, publish permissions up here. And it'll go through several steps. First of all, it'll do a test. Then it will calculate the object level security. It will calculate the quick security. It will go through each permission set and apply the source code analysis. So if you changed your code in NAV, you have rescanned the source code analysis, this process is actually automatically applying those changes in here by recalculating this one. You will also calculate all the logins, basically calculating expiry on individual access controls, and also unfolding all the groups. Before it will make any changes, it will create a restore point, and then the actual writing of the changes will be very, very short because it only writes the few things that are different in here. But that's basically what's happening during a full publish of permissions in here. It is also possible, let's say I actually would have modified this group sales in here. And I will go in and delete one of the permissions in here and saying that I really don't want people any longer to modify permissions in here. So I'll be deleting this permission in here, or this permission set in the group. If this group is used for a lot of people, you don't really want to push this security to everyone in the system, because if you do, then you have 20 people calling and say, I can't do something. I want to test this with John, so I'll go use this function here to publish selected. And at that point, it will only publish this single login in here. It asks if it should update, and that's a calculation of the data, so I want to do that. And then it will do a very limited process. It will only create the restore points, and then it will write the changes only to John's user out here. So at that point, John can log in, he can test that he can do the jobs he's supposed to, but nobody else has been affected right now. As everything works fine, I want to push this to everybody, and then I want to go use the publish permission function again in here to publish it to everybody out here. It is also possible to select multiple users in here, but again, when you publish selected, it don't do the same calculations as during a full publish. So at that point, you really want to run the complete publish of permissions in here. And of course, it only writes the changes in here. So at that point, you will be able to only have those things changed that actually ended up making differences for users in here, or permission sets and everything else. The other thing is, if you have new users, if you have new objects and things like that one, you will get a message during publish saying that the data is not consistent. So let me go here and create a new user. And go back and try run the publish permission in here. It will tell me the data in live and easy security does not match, and I should use the function get new data from live to update the data in here. And it tells me there's a user in here that is not found in here, basically telling me that the user is a problem. The same thing can happen if you create or rename a company, or if there's changes to the objects. And the last is the most typical one. Somebody adds a new report, and you would get this message that you have to run get new data. All you do here is run this get new data from live function, and it will pull in all the information and use it for future calculations inside NavEasy Security in here. Again, it actually creates restore points, and in that way are able to actually see the changes that actually happened over time in here. After pulling in the information, it actually automatically calculates and updates to all the permission sets, in that way applying new objects and things like that one into the system at this point also. So the new data has been pulled in, and I would actually see Sarah showing up in my list behind here, and I would be able to hit the publish permission. If you have very limited permissions inside NAV and really only maintain users in here inside NavEasy Security, we have a function out here that is called NAS process entries. It is possible to go in here and create a record and then select a function you actually want the NAS to be performing in here. It requires some additional setup, but in that way you can have a user with very limited permissions, only to one company, that is the Easy Security company, and still be able to request a publish to happen at this point in here. You cannot do a selected any longer because the NAS don't know which records you potentially work with in here. So the writing of the security to the normal NAV security tables is done with the publish function. And there's these two options to do everything. That should be the normal way. and then you can use the publish selected if you want to test one thing before doing all of them. As you saw, we create the restore points, and it would also allow us to do a lot of rollback, and the get new data function ends up retrieving all the things into our application, and in that way be able to publish it.